So if you believe the lie, like many people in the world do, that value is based on your net worth, you will continue to chase money and material possessions, which then you miss the purpose of your true value.
Yeah, you know what? It doesn't matter what your situation is. Doesn't matter what circumstance you're in, you have value. You know, your age doesn't matter. Your color of skin doesn't matter. Where you are, where you live, what your family dynamics are, none of that matters. It all impacts you, but you can identify your value based on who you are. When I see me as God sees me, you know my value increases.
Yeah.
You need to measure yourself to what God says you are and what you are capable of, not where you are right now.
Yeah, that's so important, Lewis. People are really, they just undervalue themselves because of sometimes, like you said, the color of your skin or where you came from, what family you came from. You could be born with that mindset by the time you're 10 years old that I have no value.
Yeah.
And it's so sad because unless you can understand how we are valued by God, unless you have that relationship with God, you will never get the revelation just how valuable you are. It's more important to have that than anything we can accumulate, anything that we can attain. Understanding that God loves us so much and He values us.
So you know what? Just before you go on, Penny, when you think about that, if you read the Bible, you'll see Jesus, who was a son of God, walking away from the group early in the morning, and he would go pray for 5 or 6 hours. He would spend time just communing with God, no interference, just go to a quiet place, because he was really trying to bring value to the community. He was trying to understand what his call was. He found that through communing with God, praying to God.
Because he only did what his father told him to do.
And then he went out in the community, and miracles were just done by his hand because he had spent time understanding that he carried the power of God.
When you understand your value, like you said, you can be an overcomer and a conqueror of a seemingly impossible situation.
Yeah.
And then you're able to maximize your true value and fulfill your purpose. It was when we went through our deepest value, our deepest valleys, or the hardships or our circumstances that we thought were devastating, and we had to rely on God. That's when we understand just the value that we contain with God within us that could help us overcome something. So not only does the value of our life get to become greater, but then we can bring that value to other people and help them to be overcomers of situations and circumstances. So then we become valuable to someone as a married couple.
Yeah.
We bring value to a community because a strong married couple is what strong communities are built on.
So that even when we break this down to what God values, our whole society is based on values, morals, standards, principles. In fact, the community that we live in today was created based on biblical standards, and we still live those today. I think the real problem, we spoke a little bit about it. We said, there's an identity crisis. Do you know that if you are in fellowship with God, if you would be able to have absolutely nothing in the world and be of value, and you would see yourself, if God could use you to do one thing, and that would bring a difference to society. We talked about things like Facebook or attire or fire or what is it that you would bring to the community? How can we create that value?
Lewis, when you look at the world right now, in the world system, we have more self-help books, more life coaches out there that are trying to help people to identify their purpose and helping people trying to, search for why they're existing and for their greatness. And most, not most, some coaches are even directing people to God, but there's other people that are just basing it on their opinion. And it's just so it's so freeing for us that we don't have to recreate and try to figure out why we're a value. We just can bring people right back into where they understand that we are where we are because we found God and put Him in the center of our life.
Well, what you said is so key, Penny. You said their opinions. The biblical standards and principles that were created by God, written down in a book, they don't change. They haven't changed. God's ways have not changed. And the funny thing is that not one human being is an experiment. Mm-hmm. Nobody's an experiment. So when you have...
So we shouldn't be experimenting with our lives.
I'm telling you, we have people telling us what we should do based on what Penny just said, their opinions, what works. Even the school system was created that, in Canada, you would be able to go from grade 1 to 12, grade 12, and then they would season you or condition you to go to university. And when you look at people like Bill Gates, he never even finished high school.
Most of the great people, most of the great men in this world have not finished.
Thomas Edison.
I know.
Unbelievable amount of inventions, and he had like a grade 3 or 4 education.
For sure. I mean, we also know that education is very important, so we're not trying to say, but what we are saying is that you do not have to be the smartest person in your family, in your job, wherever you are. What you need to be is tapped into God, and He can direct you.
So part of your value is going to come from what you do. You identify your gifts, start serving them to the world, and you'll bring value. Mm-hmm. You'll bring value to your family, to your community. When we break it down, I'm not sure, Penny, if we talk about, we were just talking about marriage. So what value would I have if I wasn't the husband that I was supposed to be? If I was like a child. What value
would you have to our marriage, especially?
Yes. To our family. If I became like a child and just did what I wanted and, had everything done for me, and I wasn't the parent, then...
So you're getting value from others, but you're giving no value, so you're not valuable to the others.
That's right. So you need everything we're talking about. And when we mention a great inventor, your value isn't going to be created because you invent something great. In your family right now, taking out the trash brings value to your family. Picking up, garbage, like
serving your wife, helping your wife, helping
right.
your husband, serving your husband, that brings value to each other, and then you become where you have a valuable marriage. It's so important. So you have to realize that you're made in the image of God, that God created you. And when you have that understanding, you have greatness in you. You need to tap into Him so your greatness can come alive and you can become what you need to become, and then you have this great value. Things that are very valuable in the world are things that make us happy. So the world system says, boy, if I'm happy, then I've got value. And you're looking for self-gratifying, things that help make us get away to where we're trying to go easily and accumulating all that stuff. But your value is much greater than what the world system is or says it is.
Yeah, that's awesome.